Today we'll be reading Job 22 through 25. After we finish, we'll discuss some important questions. Can we become prosperous by following God? Why doesn't God put an end to injustice? Where are we responsible for sin in our nature at birth? At the end of our discussion, we'll also provide a summary for each chapter to help reinforce what we've learned.
Job chapter 22. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said,
Can a man be profitable unto God, as he that is wise may be profitable unto himself? Is it any pleasure to the Almighty that thou art righteous? Or is it gain to him that thou makest thy ways perfect? Will he reprove thee for fear of thee? Will he enter with thee into judgment? Is not thy wickedness great, and thine iniquities infinite? For thou hast taken a pledge from thy brother for naught, and stripped the naked of their clothing. Thou hast not given water to the weary to drink, and thou hast withholden bread from the hungry. But as for the mighty man, he had the earth, and the honorable man dwelt in it. Thou hast sent widows away empty, and the arms of the fatherless have been broken. Therefore snares are round about thee, and sudden fear troubleth thee, or darkness that thou canst not see, and abundance of waters cover thee. Is not God in the height of heaven? And behold the height of the stars, how high they are. And thou sayest, How doth God know? Can he judge through the dark cloud? Thick clouds are a covering to him, that he seeth not, and he walketh in the circuit of heaven. Hast thou marked the old way which wicked men have trodden, which were cut down out of time, whose foundation was overflown with a flood? Which said unto God, Depart from us, and what can the Almighty do for them? Yet he filled their houses with good things. But the counsel of the wicked is far from me. The righteous see it, and are glad, and the innocent laugh them to scorn. Whereas our substance is not cut down, but the remnant of them the fire consumeth, acquaint now thyself with him, and be at peace. Thereby good shall come unto thee. Receive, I pray thee, the law from his mouth, and lay up his words in thine heart. If thou return to the Almighty, thou shalt be built up. Thou shalt put away iniquity far from the tabernacles. Then shalt thou lay up gold as dust, and the gold of Ophir as the stones of the brooks. Yea, the Almighty shall be thy defense, and thou shalt have plenty of silver. For then shalt thou have thy delight in the Almighty, and shalt lift up thy face unto God. Thou shalt make thy prayer unto him, and he shall hear thee, and thou shalt pay thy vows. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. When men are cast down, then thou shalt say, There is lifting up, and he shall save the humble person. He shall deliver the island of the innocent, and it is delivered by the pureness of thine hands.
Job chapter 23. Then Job answered and said,
Even today is my complaint bitter. My stroke is heavier than my groaning. Oh, that I knew where I might find him, that I might come even to his seat. I would order my cause before him and fill my mouth with arguments. I would know the words which he would answer me, and understand what he would say unto me. Will he plead against me with his great power? No, but he would put strength in me. There the righteous might dispute with him. So should I be delivered forever from my judge. Behold, I go forward, but he is not there, and backward, but I cannot perceive him. On the left hand where he doth work, but I cannot behold him. He hideth himself on the right hand, that I cannot see him. But he knoweth the way that I take. When he hath tried me, I shall come forth as gold. My foot hath held his steps. His way have I kept and not declined. Neither have I gone back from the commandment of his lips. I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than my necessary food. But he is in one mind, and who can turn him? And what his soul desireth, even that he doeth. For he performeth the thing that is appointed for me, and many such things are with him. Therefore am I troubled at his presence. When I consider, I am afraid of him. For God maketh my heart soft, and the Almighty troubleth me. Because I was not cut off before the darkness, neither hath he covered the darkness from my face.
Job chapter 24.
Why, seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty, do they that know him not see his days? Some remove the landmarks. They violently take away flocks and feed thereof. They drive away the ass of the fatherless. They take the widow's ox for a pledge. They turn the needy out of the way. The poor of the earth hide themselves together. Behold, as wild asses in the desert, go they forth to their work, rising betimes for a prey. The wilderness yieldeth food for them and for their children. They reap every one his corn in the field, and they gather the vintage of the wicked. They cause the naked to lodge without clothing, that they have no covering in the cold. They are wet with the showers of the mountains, and embrace the rock for want of a shelter. They pluck the fatherless from the breast, and take a pledge of the poor. They cause him to go naked without clothing, and they take away the sheaf from the hungry, which make oil within their walls, and tread their wine presses, and suffer thirst. Men groan from out of the city, and the soul of the wounded crieth out. Yet God layeth not folly to them. They are of those that rebel against the light. They know not the ways thereof, nor abide in the paths thereof. The murderer, rising with the light, killeth the poor and needy, and in the night is as a thief. The eye also of the adulterer waiteth for the twilight, saying, No eye shall see me, and disguiseth his face. In the dark they dig through houses which they had marked for themselves in the daytime. They know not the light, for the morning is to them even as the shadow of death. If one know them, they are in the terrors of the shadow of death. He is swift as the waters, their portion is cursed in the earth. He beholdeth not the way of the vineyards. Drought and heat consume the snow waters. So doth the grave those which have sinned. The womb shall forget him. The worm shall feed sweetly on him. He shall be no more remembered, and wickedness shall be broken as a tree. He evil entreateth the barren that beareth not, and doeth not good to the widow. He draweth also the mighty with his power. He riseth up, and no man is sure of life. Though it be given him to be in safety, whereon he resteth, yet his eyes are upon their ways. They are exalted for a little while, but are gone and brought low. They are taken out of the way as all other, and cut off as the tops of the ears of corn. And if it be not so now, who will make me a liar, and make my speech nothing worth?
Job chapter 25. Then answered Bildad the Shuhite, and said,
Dominion and fear are with him. He maketh peace in his high places. Is there any number of his armies? And upon whom doth not his light arise? How then can man be justified with God? Or how can he be clean that is born of a woman? Behold, even to the moon, and it shineth not. Yea, the stars are not pure in his sight. How much less man that is a worm, and the Son of Man, which is a worm.
Can we become prosperous by following God? Yes, we can become spiritually prosperous, but not necessarily materially wealthy. In the Old Testament, the prevailing principle was that God materially prospered the righteous. The New Testament teachings of Jesus and the apostles, however, clarify that faith and obedience bring spiritual prosperity. John 4 verse 13 to 14, 1 Peter 1 verse 3 to 5, along with promises of hardships, Matthew 5 verse 10 to 11.2, Timothy 3 verse 12, 1 Peter 4 verse 12. Should we fear God's plan for us? Those who trust in God never need to fear his ultimate plans for us. Job was in utter agony. He had no idea when all his suffering would end. It was natural for him to feel anxious about the future. But we need to balance Job's statement with the broader teaching in the Bible, that God always has our best interest at heart. Jeremiah 29 verse 11, Romans 8 verse 28. Job himself discovered this when God not only restored, but doubled everything Job had lost. Why doesn't God put an end to injustice? God does deal with the wicked, as Job himself admitted later. Job was simply crying out in anguish about the cruelty and unfairness he saw in the world around him. Today, we may watch the evening news and feel the same way. Eventually, though, the wicked will be judged. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 13 to 14. God's eyes are on their ways, and they will be brought low. Why are we responsible for sin in our nature at birth? How can mere mortals prove their innocence before God? 9 to 2 is probably the most important question in life. The answer is clear. No one can claim personal righteousness equal to God's purity. Paul recognized that all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Romans 3 verse 23. The problem is, we are born in a sinful condition due to Adam's sin. Genesis 3 verse 6 to 7. Romans 5 verse 12. David described this original sin as some refer to it, saying, "Surely I was sinful at birth, sinful from the time my mother conceived me." Psalms 51 verse 5. But isn't it unfair? How can we be held accountable for something we inherit? The problem with such questions is that we too have sinned. The question instead should be, what do we do with the sinful nature we inherit? Do we indulge it? Or do we trust in the way God has provided to overcome it? Through faith in the saving work of Jesus Christ on the cross, God gives us a brand new nature with a righteous standing before him. This is how we take responsibility for our sins. Summary of Job 22 through 25. In Job 22, Eliphaz gives his final speech and directly accuses Job of serious sins such as oppression, greed, and cruelty charges made without evidence. He claims Job's suffering is deserved and urges him to repent so God will restore him. Eliphaz presents a distorted view of God, suggesting that human righteousness or wickedness benefits or harms God directly. In Job 23, Job responds by longing to meet God face to face so he can present his case. Though unable to find God, Job expresses confidence that God knows the truth and will ultimately vindicate him. He affirms that he has remained faithful, even while feeling afraid of God's hiddenness. In Job 24, Job continues by questioning why God allows injustice to persist. He lists vivid examples of oppression and suffering among the poor and innocent, noting that many wrongdoers go unpunished in this life. Job argues that the friend's theology fails to explain this reality. In Job 25, Bildad gives a brief final reply, emphasizing God's greatness and human insignificance. He argues that no human can be truly righteous before God. While his words are true in part, they do not address Job's specific suffering or claims of innocence. Overall, these chapters expose the collapse of the friend's arguments and highlight Job's steady confidence that God is just, even when his justice is not immediately seen. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord show you his favor and give you his peace.